Hi, my name is Alexandra Janelli, and I'm the founder of Go Burble, and I've been a hypnotherapist for the last 15 years, working with everyone from CEOs all the way down to children. And what I wanted to talk about today is I want to actually tell you a story. When I first started practicing hypnotherapy, I was getting my clinical hours, and I actually made a client cry in session, and it freaked me out so much that I wasn't sure what to do. And I felt so bad, and I spent some time apologizing. And it's funny because after 15 years of doing hypnotherapy, I kind of look back at that moment and go, you know what? There was a way to have handled it a little bit differently. Not that I handled it poorly, but I wasn't equipped and ready to handle what do you do when someone starts to cry in a hypnotic state? So what's really happening is that client has tapped in either to a memory or an emotion that is coming up for them. And instead of seeing it as a fear trigger for me, I could have seen it as an opportunity to either dig a little deeper or reframe it, revisit it, revisualize it, change it to move her forward. But again, it's all under the assumption that the client wants to do that work. Now, there's nothing wrong with a client crying in hypnosis. Again, you can have clients who cry in really beautiful, releasing ways. You can have them cry because maybe they've seen their inner child and they feel sad for their inner child. And this is where having really good training in hypnosis makes a difference, because there's a difference between someone who's been trained to hypnotize someone. It's not hard to get someone into the hypnotic state. But once you're there with them in the hypnotic state, then what do you do? And that's where finding a good hypnotherapist is important. Now, remember, there are also parameters of where hypnotherapists versus licensed therapists can work. So again, making sure that you're staying within your lane for self-improvement, making sure we're not touching into depression or other medical issues unless you're under the supervision. But it's very important to know that when a client cries, it's really asking more questions, getting to understand the context, what it is that they'd like it to be like, how it is they're feeling, how can we reassociate that? What would it be like to shift it? Open-ended questions are very powerful and empowering, right? A closed-end question would be a yes or no answer. And we don't want them to answer yes or no. We want them to answer with, I wonder what it would be like if in this moment you had the power to reframe that. And it's going to get them to think differently, right? Because open-ended questions tap into the subconscious mind where it's like, I don't know the answer to that, but let me visualize it. Let me imagine it. Let me create it. And the more that you can imagine it, visualize, see it, the more that you're going to be able to create new neurological pathways through the visualizations that you're seeing in hypnosis. And the more that it resonates with a client, the more likely that they are to accept it, release whatever blocks that they were holding on to, which again, may have been keeping them safe, right? Sometimes shutting down emotions is a protection coping mechanism that we can't just take a coping mechanism away from a client. They're going to freak out. You have to replace it with something better that feels just as safe. So all of these things are important. So again, it is not a bad thing if a client cries in your session. It's just having a course of action that you feel confident in to know what to do when they do, and making sure that you're staying within your lane. You're not triggering the client, having them leave feeling like more upset than when they came into your office, because that's not the intention of our work. These things can happen, but again, making sure that you have the tools and resources to reframe it, move them through it, make them feel heard, acknowledged, and supported, and make sure that you're staying on their agenda. Staying on their agenda is by far one of the most important things. It's not what you want for them. It's not what their boyfriend or parent or significant other wants for them. It's what they want in that moment, things to be like, look like, feel like. So I hope that's helpful. Don't be afraid if a client cries. Just have a plan of how you tackle it.